Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So whether I end up doing a little voiceover later on, but I wanted to just talk through this to begin with. So this was the Mother's Day project that I wanted to do before Mother's Day. Unfortunately, I just didn't get time to upload it previous to Mother's Day. But if you have this issue of Simply Cards and Papercraft, this one is 254, so it came out in February. So we have this post-it note holder project just here, and you have the download that you can get from craftworld.com. So head over to there, you can find any of the sort of downloads and things. They've got papers and toppers that you can download as well that will match in with your stamp set. But you can download this, which I have done and printed, and for this we are going to be then using our Mother's Day paper pad, which is going to match the card that you would have seen in a previous video, which was this card here. So we're going to do a matching post-it note holder to go with the card essentially. So it's going to be a gift and card together. But the first thing we need to do is obviously look at how we're actually going to create this itself. I've got just a little pad here of post-it notes. And I have checked, and that obviously is going to fit in there nicely. So obviously you've got your instructions in here. So basically it just says, use the template provided to draw, cut out and score the two pieces required to make a post-it note holder from green card. So I don't know if it wants you to like print this onto green card, if that's what you were going to do. I'm not sure. Obviously I'm just going to take the template and I'm just going to recreate it essentially. But on here, so this does say template shown at 100%. Now I didn't change any settings on my printer, but the measurements are slightly different if you actually measure it. Now this shouldn't make a difference, but this is why I'm gonna recreate it. So if you actually measure this, if it's shown at 100%, it should be accurate, but this here says it should be 18.5 centimetres, and really it's about 17.8. So I know we're talking 0.2 centimetres here, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you cut this out, or if you cut it out, it should just go together, is my assumption. But I'm just saying some of it doesn't 100% match the measurements. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna create it from scratch using the measurements. And we're going to see what happens. You've got the cut lines are obviously your solid lines, and your score lines are your kind of perforated style lines there as well. So let's get into this. So we're going to put that to one side. So I'm not really going to use this because I think it's more about just then decorating with the patterned paper, adding a narrow strip to the front. Stamp the flower, add that on with a foam pad, adhere the other piece of green cardstock to the flap at the back, concertina fold the bottom, so I'm not sure if you can see that there. This will stand up, affix the topper across the top, place the post-it notes in, and they've got a pen in there as well, but I think that's going to be optional, so I wasn't going to include a pen because I don't think with this measurement here, to me, you're not going to get a pen in there as well. But we're going to put it together and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to move this to one side. I've got a piece of 300 GSM cardstock here. This is actually that Craft Stash watercolour card that I really don't like. So I thought this would work nicely. So, what do I want to do here? How do I want to do this? So obviously we're going to get both of these out of this. So I can obviously cut it this way. So the longest is 14.5 centimetres. So hopefully I can just use this trimmer here, but obviously I'm going to use the bottom of it because the okay, just turn the light on. I might have to brighten this in editing possibly, but I'm going to use the bottom of my trimmer because the centimetres is on top. So what did I say we wanted? 14.5, which I'm guessing is there. So we want that, and then we want, for this piece here, we want 9.5 centimetres. And then so we've got a little bit of scrap there. Okay, so since we're just with this piece, okay, so this, let me bring my other trimmer in because that one doesn't quite go up high enough. So So then for this is going to be 18.5 centimetres. So we've got that, and then we're just going to do a bit of, so well actually we could score this now. So the score marks didn't have, apart from down here and here, these weren't labelled. I can't even see what I'm doing. So apart from these ones up on this piece, they're labelled, but these ones here weren't labelled. So I measured it roughly, and I've got 1.5 centimetres and then 2 sections of 2.5 centimetres. I don't know if that's right. That was just kind of how I measured it and rounded it up a little bit. So we're going to go with that. So we're going to do, I'm going to come to this side of my trimmer. So we're going to do 1.5. Then I'm just going to flip it over. Then we're going to do, so I'm going to take my 1.5 centimetre line. I'm going to line that up with the 2.5 centimetre, roughly. Obviously I can't see it, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this line to the 2.5 centimetre again. Again, it's just there or thereabouts. So that's that piece, so we can pop that to one side. So now with this one we've got a little bit more work to do. So let's start by trimming this down. So I measured the entire length, because it's only given me some breakdown lengths, to be 19.5 inches. So let's cut this to 19.5. Let's score this 1 centimetre for that end first of all, and then I can just flip that over. And we're going to be getting rid of some of this side anyway. So we've got that score mark there. So then we want to come down 12 centimetres from our 1 centimetre. So I'm going to line up my 1 centimetre score line with 12 centimetres. Again, it's going to have to be there or thereabouts. So I'm going to score that. And then I'm guessing that's a centimetre. So again, we don't have any measurements for our perforated. So that's a centimetre. So so that was 12. So do another centimetre there. So now we've got this, and so okay, we're sort of there. If you lie it on top, again, you're kind of there or thereabouts with it. And then so we've got this bottom section just here. So we're measuring that at 5.5. Again, the measurements are off. I've got 5.5, so we're gonna have to go with that. So then we want to come in and score at 1 centimetre and 1.5 centimetres. So all I'm going to do is score up to this score mark here that we did. So this last one we got here, I'm going to score up. So let's put my blade, whoops. Let's put my blade at the top. Not my blade, my scoring blade here. So I'm going to score. So we want 1 centimetre. And again, I'm just coming up to this score line here. There. So 1 centimetre. And then, what was it, 1.5 centimetres. So I'm going to move my score mark that I just did at 1 centimetre over to the 1.5. Do the same thing again. That one went over a little bit, but never mind. And then basically I want to do the same thing again on this side. So let's do that. I'll just have to hold that carefully again, only as far as that first score mark that it's coming to. And then I'm going to move that score mark to the 1.5 centimetres and score again, like so. Let's bring this back in. So that's looking pretty similar. So all we need to do now basically is create little tabs in this section here, and then we're going to cut away this section here. So actually what we could do is just actually extend. Oh, actually I could just cut it with my trimmer. So I'm actually just going to cut this with my trimmer down to this score mark here. So we've got this bottom section, we have our first score line, so we've only scored up to the score line, then we've got this second one. I'm actually just going to trim this down to about there. Let's go a little further, there we go. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to line up this score mark here, which was the additional 1.5. I'm going to line that up and then come down to that score mark again. So we should have then something that looks like this. I don't think I need my trimmer until we come to put our pattern paper on. So let's take a pair of scissors, and again, so I'm going to bring this here. Hopefully you can see it's a little bit sunny today. So I'm going to cut off these pieces here because we don't need those. So it's starting to look a little bit more like we should. And then so these bits here want us to create a little tab. So again, I'm going to cut up this line to this score mark here, which is the same as to where we've cut. So let's do that. And then it doesn't need to be as long, so I'm going to cut it to be as long as, so hopefully you can see that. So I've cut it up to that end score mark, and then we'll do the same for this side. And then it's kind of tapered in at the edges, so we're going to take, whoops, we're going to take a little bit of bulk off there, but it doesn't show us to do that anywhere else, so this is the only area we're going to do it. Like so. So, you know, we're give or take there. So let's move that to the side. So we've got this piece here, this piece here, and I think that matches quite well. So that was quite easy to do. So let's just tidy up a bit. So what I'm going to do now is let's just fold up our pieces. So in the instructions, it said for this part, where was it? So adhere the other piece of green cardstock to the flap at the back. Concertina fold the bottom, then adhere the bottom flap in place. This will allow the holder to stand up. So we're going to do, let me get my bone folder. So I'm going to do that one there. That one's going to come up, and then that one is going to go over. So we've ended up with this here. This is then going to be the back, and then this little tab here is going to attach to our front. So I'm guessing this is the top bit. We're going to attach that tab to there. So I'm going to fold that back like so. And then what I'm guessing, again, just looking at what we've got. So this score mark we've got here, I'm going to fold that one up, because that's now going to be the base. I'm going to fold the next one up. So you just kind of need to see it come together really, don't you? Like so. And then I'm going to turn it, and then these sides, so these ones can go in. And then both of these side pieces, these little wings, are going to come in here as well. So pretty easy to put together. So that's pretty... this will be pretty cool if you want to give this as a gift to somebody, if they've, you know, got a desk. Although that seems to be too long. So this piece here, which was the 1.5 centimeters, so really this section here, that needed to be 1.5 centimeters as well, not the 1 centimeter that it kind of shows on there. Problem is, if I add another 0.5 centimeter, you will have a gap. So let's bring this back. So what I'm going to do, so that is 1.5 that's 1 centimetre, this piece here. So I'm going to line this up with the half. No, I'm not. I want to do 1.5. So I'm going to line this up with the 1.5, and I'm going to add another score mark. So the bottom, what's going to be the bottom of your base, that needs to be 1.5, not 1. Because that there measures 1 centimetre, but that really needs to be 1.5 centimetres. The only downside is going to be that your little tabs here aren't obviously going to be wide enough, sorry. But hopefully you won't see that. And see, now that actually lets it close up. So I think I'm going to get some red liner tape. Do I want to get red liner tape, or do I want to just use glue? Let's just use some glue for this. So I think we need to just do, yeah, let's do this bit first, this little tab here. Or something like a construction glue would be good for this. So we're going to put that there. And then let's do the same for this side. Oh, so just hold that in place for a second. So we're gonna by the time, if you add a piece to the bottom of this, it will help strengthen that where we've got that additional score mark in there. And then so we've got kind of this shape, and then basically we want to add glue to each of these side pieces here. Or again, something like a construction glue will help make this firmer, but if you're adding your matting layers, it's gonna add a little more stability that way. So you want to make sure that it lines up nicely with the edge. You don't want it to be pushed down kind of too far. You want it to line up. So it's very, very simple, you know, in the design, which is nice. Don't want to have something that's sort of too complicated to put together. So there we have that. So our post-it notes are going to sit in there. I'm not going to put them in there just yet because obviously I need those sides to dry. And then essentially what we're going to do is glue that tab onto there. And then your tab here, sorry, I'm a little bit to the side, that bit there is, well, I guess we could glue that to the bottom really. What does it say? Constantly fold the bottom, then adhere the bottom flap in place. So we could either glue that there, or we could just glue it to the back. Now I feel like adding it there would be a good strengthening. Or do we want to just add it to the back? Because then I feel like if you added it to the back, it would be neater. But if you added it underneath, it would make that bottom a little stronger, where then I've obviously added in that extra score mark. Let's glue this top bit first. Let's just get that bit on. So it's going to go that way. If you've got any excess, then you can just sort of trim it off. So let's pop that, whoops. Okay, you want to make sure everything lines up nicely. Okay, so we've got that there. Do I want to add that there? I feel like the back is like slightly too, because when you fold that down, really what you want is for all of that, see that's a little bit long. This is what I'm saying, the measurements are just a little bit, a little confusing. So let's measure this. So that there is, better do it in centimetres, 11.5 and then that there is 12. So, so we need to take a 1/2 cent. So that really needs to be the same. Because yeah, when you put that on there, it's not going to stand up. It's not going to stand up straight. So we need to bring all of these up 1/2 centimetre. And again, just hope that most of this, these score marks will be covered by, let's do it this way actually, so I can sort of see what I'm doing. These will be covered by patterned paper. So let's do that. So I'm going to do 1/2 centimetre there. And then I want to do 1/2 centimetre there. Let's do 1/2 centimetre there. And then what I'm actually going to do is take 1/2 centimetre off the bottom there. So what do we want? So that one needs to go back. Then the problem is with adding sort of like when you add the score marks and things, obviously you are kind of adding those creases. You can like rub them out to a certain degree, but you're kind of changing the structure because you've got then like stretched fibres in that area. So so that's how it should be now. Again, I'm still just deciding. I might just stick it to the back. So I'm going to add some glue to this tab. And then basically all I need to do is just hold that down and just fold it flat and make sure that, again, that bit lines up. Because it doesn't say add it to the bottom. Concertina, fold the bottom, then adhere the bottom flap in place. And I can't see that it's at the bottom. I mean, and this bit here is sat up from the ground anyway. So I think we want to add it how we've done it here. Got a little bit of overhang there. Just wondering if I can. I don't know if I can get in there. I'll just leave that. So there we go. So it's going to sit like that. Okay, so that's cute. Let's add in our post-it notes. A bit of fluff stuck to that one. So I think if you moved it to the side, maybe you could certainly add a pen in there. But I don't know, maybe I'll put a pen in there. But we're just going to leave it like this for the moment. So there is the post-it note holder. So yeah, it came together quite nicely. Once you know what you're doing, you can kind of, if you've got the template, you could go over that and just have your additional measurements in there and sort of just change your measurements where you need to, and yeah, create that. So what I might do now, because we are at 24 minutes, what I might do is just go off camera now. I'm going to cut all of my pieces and I won't glue them on. I'll write the measurements down, and then obviously then you've got the measurements for your patterned pieces. I do really want to take that bit off. I'll sort that off out camera. So what I'm going to do off camera, so what I'm going to do now is, yeah, just measure and trim down my patterned paper, and then we'll come back and glue it all together. Okay, so I think I've got all of my pieces here. So I decided to do a matte layer because when I just had the paper on there, it did look a little bit plain. It didn't really stand out quite as much as I'd like it to, so I have gone in with this nice sort of lilac colour here. So these ones are, it's really strange for me to work in centimetres. I always used to, and then obviously moved over to inches. But so this one here, so this is for the back, but I'm actually doing the back, the two inside, just to really add stability to that. So we've got a back piece, two inside pieces, and then this piece in here. So you want 4 of these, which is 9 centimetres by 11 centimetres. So I've got those two, and then for the front, for the inside here and the back, I've done the patterned paper. So if you want to add the patterned paper, then that's going to be 8.5 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres. So let's glue these ones down. So again, the plain ones are just going to go on the inside, and really, so I'm doing the inside as well, like I said, because of the structure. Even though this is going to add the stability to that side, I really don't want it kind of caving back in on itself, and you are going to see down in there as well. So you can either do something like this, matte and layer it, or like they've done in the magazine, and they've used coloured card to make this. Once you've made one, this could have been a prototype really. Once you've made one, you could make the rest of them. Then once you've got everything nailed down with the size and everything, you could you know, remake them. And like if you do like fairs and, you know, or you have like little gifts and things, if you're doing like any teacher gifts maybe, something like this would be really easy. You can buy stacks of post-it notes and just divide them out, and could be really great little thank you gifts here as well. So I'm doing a Mother's Day version, but you know, just sort of think a little more out of the box in terms of the occasions that you can use this for. So I'm not gonna, do I have pieces for the bottom? Well, I do. I might have to cut 2 more, because if I've done that, really I want to do the insides and potentially the bottom. So for these pieces here, so the inside pieces, inside or outside, whatever it is you're doing, so I might have to cut 2 more of these. So these measure 9 inches by 2 inches. Again, I'm just very wary that we've got all those extra score marks. I don't want it to become sort of flimsy. So just add that one to the inside. I don't know, I suppose I don't really need to do the bottom of that. I think I've got a piece, yeah, I've got a piece for this bottom section, but certainly with this inside bit, you can see down it. So it is a bit nicer being decorated. So let's add that piece. I'm just making sure that it's all lined up nicely. So like so, because this piece in here, yeah, I think definitely adding that on the inside is a lot better. So then I've got this piece, but I'm wondering, I think I will add it because I've already cut it basically. So this one here is for the bottom. So this is 1 centimetre by 9 centimetres again. So we'll glue this, just, you know, even if you don't see it, that's okay, but because it's slightly lifted off the ground, let's move that down. Because it's slightly lifted, you know, maybe if you was really looking, but then like I said, if you want to give these as gifts or thank you gifts, you might want to cover all of the edges, possibly, just to give it a really nice finished piece. These pieces for the side, these ones measure 5 centimetres by 1, and you want 2 of these. Let's glue those ones down. And once you've got this kind of basic template, you could always think then, well, what could you have? You could do a phone holder. So my phone is probably a bit too big. I don't know. So you could fit that in there. Obviously you've got a weight thing there, but you know, if you've got like a little someone who, yeah, has their phone on them all the time, you want somewhere to put it, as like on a bedside table. Again, you want to think about the stability of that, because a phone is obviously much heavier. You could have a pen pot like this. You could do You could do a notebook. Again, just think about the weight of it. So you might want to use thicker card. You might want to do like double mats and layers, triple layers, things like that, just to add, yeah, some more stability. So let's add, I'm trying to think what I want on the front. Yeah, let's do this one on the back. And then you can add a little message to the back. You could add a nice little white rectangle to the back of this if you wanted to add a nice message. So it would be like a gift and a card in one. I don't know, I was thinking about maybe adding, because this is a Mother's Day gift, maybe adding the year, because obviously you do have the card. Whether they would keep the card or not is different. So I'm going to slot this one in, and so I'm not really obviously worried about the bottom on the inside, because you're never going to see that. Let's just push that back, make sure that's stuck down nicely. And again, because you're going to have something in it, I'm not going to bother about decorating the inside of this, though again you could, but what that would give you is again stability for the pocket, but we are going to add a piece to the front here, but the one important thing for me is that I've covered my joins. So my joins from the sides to the back are just in here, and by adding that piece all the way down, not just to this bit, this top bit that you can see, by adding it all the way down in there, you're keeping those joins in place, because now they're sandwiched between two pieces of card, but also then you know, they are hidden. And then the last piece we've got is for our front section here. So the piece here measures 5, so the purple layer is 5 centimeters by 9, and our patterned paper is 8.5 by 4.5. So let's add that. And I actually just used a lot of scraps for this. The only piece was extra was this one, but I did use the scraps from where I made the card to create these panels here. So I'll add that one to the front. I do have a set of pink post-it notes. I mean, they are quite garishly pink, but obviously we have either garish pink or garish yellow here. Let me find a nice pen. Here we go. So I could pick up a nice pen just to pop in here. So to go back to the magazine quickly, before we just decide whether we want to add any more decoration. So in here, obviously we've got the pen. Number 5 is affix the topper across the top. I don't know if that's then fixing that piece on the top, I think. Trim a piece of butterfly paper to measure 3 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. Wrap around the barrel of the pen, then adhere in place. So then you could have a little sleeve basically for your pen to sit in. I'm quite happy for it just to sit like that, or again you can just leave it like that. It just means you can get them out a little bit easier. But yeah, maybe I might buy a pen to go with this little gift. Now obviously they've got a little decoration there. I'm trying to think. If I wanted to just stamp a sentiment, then I would have just done that on here before obviously gluing this piece down maybe. I might just have a quick look in my stash, see if I can find a sentiment that I like, add it on, and then yeah, we'll just sort of finish this off, this project off. Okay, so I just added from the stamp set that came with that last issue of Simply Cards and Papercraft. I've added the butterfly, and I just added that sentiment on there as well. I did try to remove it to go back in the middle because it looks a bit odd where it is, and I ripped the paper underneath, so I had to stay where it was, but never mind. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. And again, you know, don't think about this as for Mother's Day. Think about then changing your papers, changing your theme and everything, and yeah, it would work for birthdays, thank you gifts, congratulations, like whatever it is, new job might be a good one as well. And yeah, think about not just putting post-it notes in it. You saw me put my phone in it, it does fit. You again, you want to think about sort of the stability and all things like that, but you know, you could use it then to like line up pens in there if you wanted to. Yeah, I think it just makes a really lovely gift, and I think I would definitely recommend printing it out and kind of going with it. Make a what's the word? a mock-up of it first of all, in like just white paper or whatever, just to sort of put it together and make sure that you've got your measurements and it works for what you want to do with it, and then yeah, go ahead and make it in sort of the nice paper that you want to actually create this in, is something I would definitely recommend. But yeah, I really love how this has turned out. So yeah, this is going to be my last Mother's Day project. Obviously I didn't really have a Mother's Day series like I really planned to this year, but yeah, I've created some quite nice things. And then if you just bring back that card as well, so if I lie this down, we've got a really lovely card and gift set here, which is just going to match really, really nicely, and hopefully be maybe a little bit of a keepsake, certainly of this, and you know, because it's functional, you can just refill it, but maybe with the card as well, so they do kind of go together, would be quite nice. But obviously that is for the recipient to decide what they want to do, and that's absolutely fine. So that is going to be it for this project. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you do or are planning to create one of these. I think they have come out really, really lovely. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. So thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.